Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining this session. I'm excited to talk to you about using technology for reforestation and environmental justice. If we go to the next slide, um, about me, a little bit about me. I am just for background, I am half Ecuadorian, half Chilean. I am currently the director of product management at the Arbor Day Foundation. And my background has been in entrepreneurship, but also working in innovation in the education sector, in edtech, and also in educational media. I have a big passion on how we can use technology to support social issues like climate or education at scale. Please feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn if you would like, and we can chat more after the session if you're curious about anything that I'll be presenting. So if we go to the next slide, I wanted to touch a little bit on why we are here. And I know that all of us are in technology, and there are a lot of things that you could be doing with the great talents you have, the great knowledge. But I want to encourage you to consider applying your technical talents into supporting climate. This is as you can witness, I think, from what is going on around us. It's an urgent issue, and there's a big opportunity for technology to drive innovation and support climate change. If we go to the next slide, before we continue, I would love to have a little bit of interaction with all of you, and ask if you could share in the chat what comes to mind when you think about the importance of trees in your community. And I'll share a little bit after I hear from you in the chat. What comes to mind when you think about the importance of trees in your community? What do you remember? Even like, what do you remember about being a kid around trees, or when you saw that maybe trees were missing? Cooling spaces, for sure. Yeah, for my background on education and early childhood development, trees are very important in reducing heat in urban areas, and heat can have very negative consequences in the development of children. Peace, clean air. Also, trees and green spaces provide the environment of having green spaces around us in urban areas, provide spaces for play, which is also very important for us. Clean air, for sure. Gathering and sitting with friends. Yes, for sure. Mental health. Yeah, I love that. I love all these ideas. And please keep sharing. As we continue to the next slide, I'm going to talk to you about some of the work that the Arbor Day Foundation is doing. I'm going to highlight how the organization that I'm part of, the nonprofit that I'm part of, the Arbor Day Foundation, is using technology for climate justice and using trees to support climate justice and the environment. So we could go to the next slide. The mission of the Arbor Day Foundation is to inspire people to plant, nurture, and celebrate trees. It was founded in 1972. And one thing that I've been at the Arbor Day Foundation only 3 months, but I've been very excited to learn about the benefits that come from trees. Sometimes before, I think clean air is one of the main things that I had in mind when I thought about trees, a few years ago. Then as I got into education, I learned about the benefits of having trees in urban areas for helping us with heat, for cooling temperatures, which supports the health of children. But then I'm learning about some other things, like how trees can support water and water concerns around climate, carbon offsets, and several other things. So I'll be talking from the Arbor Day Foundation perspective, but there are many other opportunities that you can think about on how to support climate through your technology, knowledge, and talents. So if we go to the next slide, the Arbor Day Foundation focuses or reaches scale through partnerships. We don't do it alone. And to enable our partners, and I wanted to give you this as background because the technology that we work on enables our partners to have impact with us and enable us to get farther and have a global impact, not only in local communities and in the US, but globally. So we work a lot with corporate partners that help us fund a lot of our initiatives. We work with government agencies and also other nonprofit organizations like American Forest and the Nature Conservancy. And that's just for background. And now I'm going to dive a little deeper on the main subject that brings us today, which is the technology and how we can use technology as a powerful tool for environmental justice. I am going to, as I mentioned at the beginning, my background is in product management, and I've been at the Arbor Day Foundation for 3 months. So I won't get deep into the technology and the back end of the technology. But what I mainly want to do is give you high level overview of some of the applications you can have for technology and supporting reforestation. But this is just to spark your interest in how technology can support climate and climate justice. So we leverage technology to maximize our impact and ensure that the trees are planted where they are needed most. As you can see in the background of the map, there are different colors for different areas, and that signals where trees might be needed more. We use a lot of data-driven tools to help us identify the specific areas that have bigger need or have more environmental injustices, and they might have where people might be most vulnerable to climate change. Some of the tools that we use, I wrote them in the bottom there. We partner with an organization called Nature Quant to find, and we also use something called Forest Priority Index to identify what trees might be most impactful where, because not every type of tree is going to be as impactful in a certain area, and it could also, even like some species, depending on what they are, might be also damaging to the ecosystem. So we try to be very informed on what trees we should be planting and what are the geographies that need the most trees. So if we go to the next slide, here I can give you a little bit more information on what our tools may look like with this nature score that we use. And as you can see on the bottom, nature score can give us the priority of where trees are needed most. So you can see in Chicago, there are areas where it's more red, there's more need, or in San Francisco or New York. And we try to find planting partners that work in those areas. And at the same time, we try to find funders, corporate partners that would be interested in funding projects in those areas. So that's how we use these technologies into finding suppliers who are or partners that are on the ground, the boots on the ground, and also funders, corporate partners that may be interested in these particular areas. So that as a high level on how we use the Forest Priority Index and this nature score. And we use, we partner with other technology companies to build those scores and the layers that we use in the maps that we create. So now I'm going to get into two particular examples of applications we have created. If we go to the next slide. One of these tools that we built is called the Impact Dashboard. And we use this dashboard to provide partners, corporate partners, with a tool where they can have real-time results to track the progress of reforestation projects. It's live data. They can measure the impact that they are having on the ground. And the idea is that by having this data available to them and being real time, that our corporate partners are able to build the stories around the investment they are making in the reforestation projects, so that they can continue to be excited about the investments they are making in the communities that they work in with us. This also helps us share information with our planting partners to see how their work is making a difference, and then it helps us bringing also new planting partners later on. So if we go to the next slide, I have a screenshot of what this may look like. So for example, like here as an example, like we have Verizon, and you can see the dots and the number of trees, and this has different layers. But the main idea, as I mentioned before, I won't get into the details of all the backend, what's happening in the backend, but there are different areas, and they can zoom into different locations and see how their reforestation projects may have benefits, not only in providing clean air, but maybe in impacting water basins and water impact around specific areas. So different types of impact that the trees and the reforestation projects are bringing. If we go to the next slide. The other application that I wanted to highlight is this thing called Community Tree Distributor, where we are trying to empower communities to bring, to make a change, an impact, one tree at a time. These are programs where we partner with corporations, like it could be a utility company, for example, and they may offer trees to their customers or their communities where they work. And through the community tree distributor, people can choose the appropriate tree that is going to make the most difference where they live. The community tree distributor can give you advice, like in your map and where you live, where planting your own tree, your one tree, would make more of a difference in saving, in providing utility savings, depending on the shade it provides to your home. If you planted east versus west, it's going to provide different savings for you, energy savings. So this community tree distributor facilitates the process of just people in the community being able to choose a tree and picking up a free tree through working with corporate partners that the Arbor Day Foundation works with, like a utility company, for example. And if we go to the next slide, I have a couple of screenshots of what the community tree distributor may look like. And there's a mobile app, and they can also access through their browser, and they can reserve a tree and then pick it up, as I said, and they could work with the tool to decide where within their home would be most impactful to plant this tree that they would pick up. So what does that, all this work that we do with corporate partners and planting partners, what does that mean, or what does it look like in real life? If we go to the next slide, I wanted to just highlight one example through work with Salesforce, and this is all facilitated by these technology tools. So we have this impact dashboard is something that we look at constantly with corporate partners like Salesforce, and they are very much interested on what do the numbers look like in regards to impact. And then they become excited, and that enables us to bring in more projects that are going to help the communities. So that is the idea. So I just wanted to highlight this program we did called Friends of the Urban Forest in San Francisco. And through that program with Salesforce, we in multiple, you can see the different neighborhoods within the Bay Area that we work with, and we acquired native tree species to replace those that have been lost. And different tree species. Like, as you can see, there were 28 different tree species, 125 trees were planted, 17 volunteers in 8 different neighborhoods. And maybe, we have reforestation projects that are much larger in regards to number of trees planted, but these urban environments or urban projects are very important for providing the community the shade they need, the cooling they need, and they're also very helpful because we use them as educational initiatives to help the communities understand the benefits that trees can bring, and the impact that heat may have on children and things like that. But that's just one example that at a high level I wanted to mention. And this is possible thanks to the technology that we build, such as the impact dashboard or the community tree distributor. If we go to the next slide. Yeah, I wanted to just interact with you again, and would love to hear more. If you could share in the chat, what are some of the ways you think technology can be used to address environmental challenges in your community? I would love to hear what you think. Education and outreach. Thanks, Juanita. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, through technology, we can help people learn about how our actions may impact climate, and also we can educate people on how other behaviors, what positive behaviors, or what behaviors could bring positive impact on climate. I'll give you an example of something else that I learned recently. That's very important. Through AI, another technology application, just to share, through AI, there are different tools that can help us detect potential fires very early, so early detection of fires. And there you have the technology of drones, or you can have the technology of drones and the technology using AI to recognize what the images that could potentially mean that a fire is starting, and then notifying first responders about that. So that's another example of how technology can support climate change or environmental challenges. Modeling and prediction, exactly. All right. Thanks so much for sharing. Please keep sharing. And just to conclude, my goal with this presentation was mainly to encourage you to become more curious about how your knowledge, your background, and all that you know about technologies can support nature and can support our future. So if you would like to learn anything more about what I do, or just chat about climate and technology, please feel free to connect with me in LinkedIn, and I would be happy to talk more there. Are there any questions in the chat? I have a couple of minutes, I think, if there are. Exactly. Thank you, Julio, for sharing about AI can be used to detect and prevent deforestation in the Amazon or in other forests also, and also fires, as I mentioned. Okay. If you think of any questions, feel free to connect with me, and I'd be happy to continue our conversations. Thanks so much, everybody, and continue enjoying the Techqueria Summit. Thanks so much. Bye. Take care.